Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Today we have week 2 of the BHDL4 Draft League tournament, and actually our first actual game here in the BHDL4, and so we're going to get this battle on its way. It is going to be against Stefan, a coach who we've played once before here in a prior season of the BHDL, so there he is. Looks like IGN is, of course, going to be Stefan, and we'll take a look and see what he has in store for us. So, he's got the Urshifu. That's a single strike form, I believe. He's got the Decidueye. He's got the Tauros. That's the standard Tauros. He's got the Hisuian Samurott. He's got the Garchomp, and he's got the Diancie. So, basically what I was expecting in this match. I guess I'm mildly surprised he didn't bring the Munkadori, actually. He does have access to that, so I'm actually a little surprised not to see that, but kind of in a good way. But yeah, our plan going into this match was certainly to lead with the Sneasler, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I see no reason to abandon that plan based on what he has. So we're going to attempt to lead Sneasler, and yeah, I think that's pretty much got to be our plan at this point. We'll just see how that works out. So, hopefully we can make something happen against this guy. Strong battler and seasoned draft league participant he is, so we'll see what we can do here. So there he is, and he is going to go ahead and lead off with the Urshifu as we led with the Sneasler. So this is an interesting situation because we know we're actually Scarf Sneasler, so we know we should outspeed everything on his team. Even if he is Scarf, there should be nothing on his team that outspeeds Sneasler. So we can pretty freely go for, he does have the switch into the fighting move, so we can pretty freely go for the U-turn. If he stays in here, that's probably confirmation that he's going to be Scarf. So we're just going to go for the U-turn. I don't see any reason to overthink this. He is, in fact, going to just switch up straight away, probably into the Decidueye if I had to guess. Okay, or maybe not. It is going to be, okay, it is the Decidueye. So that thing comes in. We go U-turn. Does a sizable amount of damage to that thing, and we do get the Poison Touch, which is actually beautiful. That's great for us. So we do get the pivot, obviously, of course, with the Sneasler, and so I think what we want to bring in to face the Decidueye, we have a little bit of a choice here. I feel like we could probably bring Scissor in. I don't know. This thing surely doesn't get any fire moves, and it's not one of his Terra Captains. So I think Scissor is probably the play here. So yeah, we'll go Scissor against this thing, and we'll see where that gets us. So there is the Scissor, and he is going to take some damage here from the Poison, which will leave him about 50% health. So I think in this situation, our best bet here, we have two options. We could either knock off, but he has a lot of resistances to knock off on the team, or we could just U-turn out. I feel like U-turns are better play, so we're just going to go for another U-turn here, this time with the Scissor. He actually goes for a knockoff of his own, does some chip damage to us, not a lot, and it gets rid of our leftovers, which is a little unfortunate. But it does allow us to go for a U-turn, which is going to be more than enough to finish that Decidueye off from that range. We are max attack, and knock him down to 5 Pokemon. So the Decidueye goes down early, which is nice. We did lose the item on the Scissor, but that's not the end of the world, and I feel like we have a little bit of a choice to make here as to what we want to come in with. The Decidueye being gone is nice. I'm not 100% sure what we want to come in with here, because if we come in with the Sneasler, we know we outspeed everything, so we could keep momentum going that way. But the bad news about knocking him out with a pivot means that he's going to get to choose a matchup against whatever we come in with. So we have to kind of decide what we think is the best matchup for the rest of what he has going on with his team. I feel like we could go into Azelf, but I don't really want to do that just yet. We have to decide what we want him to come in with, essentially. I kind of want to go into Rotom, although that may just force the Garchomp in. I feel like going into Rotom is probably the best play, so we'll go into Rotom here. like I said, yeah, that's the bad thing about knocking someone out with a pivot, is that you have to show first, obviously, so that means he gets to choose a matchup accordingly to the Rotom. I don't think anything else that he has could be packing a grass move to hit the Rotom with, so that's something, as it's our only weakness, but we'll see what he wants to come in with. So it is, in fact, going to be the Tauros. Okay, so the Tauros is in. So the question is, so actually the Tauros, if I'm not mistaken, might actually get, I just want to double check, but I believe Tauros actually does get grass coverage. So in the form of like Trailblaze, I think, or something like that. So we don't have a lot of time to look this up here. But I feel like Tauros does get coverage. We don't have a lot of time to decide here. I feel like Tauros gets Trailblaze. I don't think it gets anything else. I feel like we take a Trailblaze. So we could just go for a Choice Specs Volt Switch here. That's kind of what I want to do, because I feel like we take a Trailblaze, unless he's like banned or something. So let's just go Choice Specs Volt Switch, see what he wants to do. There's the Substitute. Okay, so he was trying to get a sub up on us. Fortunately, we didn't let that happen. So he goes sub, we go Volt Switch. That is going to, in fact, should be more than enough to break that Substitute, as in fact it is. And we do get the pivot out, which is going to keep some momentum alive on our side. I feel like we definitely come in Sneasler here. I think that's the play. I feel like coming in Sneasler is the play here. So, yeah, we're going to go Sneasler against this thing, because I feel like everything he has gets two-shot by close combat. But we'll come in with Sneasler. We didn't see any item, but we know he's not Scarf, and even if he was, we know he would outspeed. Now, the thing is, this is one of his Terra Captains. So the problem is we could be baiting the Terra right now, which is actually a good thing. He could be Terra Ghost to be immune to the fighting move, so I really don't want to just go straight for the fighting move, because that would be catastrophic if he is Terra Ghost. So I think I'm just going to U-turn anyway, just to bait the Terra and see what he wants to do here, as he is in fact just going to go for the switch. So that tells me he might actually not be Terra Ghost, or maybe he's saving his Terra, who knows. But either way, he's going to go ahead and switch to the Garchomp this time. We do go for the U-turn here. It does actually do a decent amount of chip damage to that thing. We do take Rocky Helmet, we take rough skin damage, but no Rocky Helmet, which is good to note. We don't get a Poison Touch, which is also good to note. Now we have to choose a matchup against this thing. Based on the way that took that, I'm not sure if that tells me anything about what this thing is. I kind of want to go into Rotom. I kind of want to go into Azelf, but I don't really want to pop my Scarf off with Azelf just yet. I kind of want to go into Rotom, because I feel like if we can hit a Choice Specs Hydro Pump on this thing from this range, it takes it out. So we'll go Rotom here, actually. We will go Rotom against this thing, and we'll see if he reveals like an item or something. No item, okay. So he could be Scarf Garchomp here. That's very possible, since he wasn't Rocky Helmet. He does have one water resistance left. However, it is a little bit of a gamble for him to switch the Hisuian Samurott in. I'm a little torn as to what to do. We could go for a Trick. That's another possibility. We could trick a Choice Specs onto something, because he either stays in and tries to hit us with an attack, or he could potentially try to switch to the Hisuian Samurott. So I feel like we could trick a Specs onto something. That could be useful. Because I doubt he comes in with anything that could benefit from receiving a Choice Specs. So we'll go trick a Choice Specs on something. We'll go for that. He does go for, so he actually is a special set. Goes for a Draco Meteor. Does about 50% to us. He takes the special attack drop. We are going to go for a Trick, interestingly. So what are we going to trick switch items here? So we give him a Choice Specs, which is actually bad. And we take his Clear Amulet. So that's pretty interesting. So we give him a Choice Specs, which is actually bad, because that's going to boost the power of the Draco Meteor. So the special Garchomp, Draco, but he is still at -2. So the -2, I think, will mean we should take another one of those. So I feel like he could stay in, he could switch at this point, but I kind of just want to go for a Hydro Pump here, so that's what I'm going to do. We probably should have done that first. He actually is going to switch this time, so we could have gone for the Volt Switch to keep the momentum going, but no, we don't get that. So he is going to switch. What does he switch into? The Tauros. That's a ballsy play. We go for the Hydro Pump. We do connect with it, and it is enough to just go ahead and take that Tauros down outright, knocking him down to 4 Pokemon. So that is still an incredible turn of events for us. So we do, in fact, get to get rid of the Tauros, which is nice. So now he's going to go ahead and switch in with the Diancie, and I am definitely worried about this thing, because with Tauros gone, that means that this is definitely going to be his Terra Captain of choice. So I feel like our best play here 100% is the Volt Switch, because he could potentially be Terra Water. I feel like the Terra is definitely coming at this point. So we are just going to Volt Switch here, definitely no thought process. And there he is. He is going to go ahead and bust out the Terra. So he's either got to be Steel, Water, or Fighting on this thing. Hopefully it's Water. And it actually is Water, so that's actually good news for us, which means we're going to nail this thing with a Volt Switch, provided we can survive whatever attack it goes for. But we actually outspeed it, which is nice. Go for the Volt Switch, does over 50% to that thing, which is amazing. And that is going to give us the pivot. So what do we come in with to face this thing, to face the Diancie? He is Terra Water, so we have to keep that in mind. I kind of want to go Scissor. I kind of want to go... I don't want to go for the Sneasler, that's for sure. I feel like Scissor might be the play here. So we'll go Scissor, see what he wants to do. Not 100% sure what he's going to want to do. He does go for a Trick Room. Okay, so that's interesting. So he's Trick Room on the Diancie, so that is very interesting, and no recovery item. So he, okay, so Diancie was Trick Room. Interesting. Okay, so I feel like our play here, we didn't see an item, but I feel like our best play is just to knock off. So we're just going to go knock off here. He probably outspeeds us. He does. He goes for the Meteor. Okay, so he's a Meteor Beam set. Okay, so that's bad news. So he goes Meteor Beam. He's going to get that special attack raise, and certainly he is going to, I'm sure, yep, there's the Power Herb. Goes Meteor Beam. Can we take it with Scissor? No, we can't take that. There's no way. So, so Scissor goes down, and we go down to 5 Pokemon. So we lose Scissor there, which is unfortunate, and we go down to 5 Pokemon. So, Meteor Beam. Okay, so losing Scissor sucks, but it's not the end of the world. He's going to outspeed everything, except, you know what, the Mudsdale might actually still outspeed, although if it's Terra Blast Water, that's going to be bad news. So we have a little bit of a choice to make here. We could switch to the Mudsdale, because actually Mudsdale is slower than Diancie, unless he's like min speed, which he actually could be. I kind of want to just go Goodra and Terra, because I feel like that's safer. We don't have the best of attacks. We do have a Draco, which I think takes him out. So yeah, I think Goodra is probably the best play here, because if we go into Goodra and we go for a Terra to lose our Fairy weakness, which is what we're going to do, and then we hit him up with a Draco would definitely KO from this range, I believe. I don't know if Terra Blast would, but at the same time, I also don't want to miss the Draco, but I feel like Terra Blast, from that range, I feel like Terra Blast does KO, but I don't really want to risk it. So I feel like Draco, I kind of want a Terra Blast. I don't feel like I feel like Terra Blast KOs, unless he's like maximally specially defensive, which I don't think he is. I feel like Terra Blast KOs from that range. But even so, Terra Blast or Draco, that's the tough decision we have on our hands here. You know what, let's go Draco. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and Terrastallize. I don't want to take the chances with Terra Blast not KOing from that range. So we're going to go ahead and Terrastallize the Goodra into a Fairy type to lose our Fairy weakness, obviously, which could be huge. So there it is, and we know he's going to outspeed us here. He is going to go Moonblast. It's at +1, but we do take it relatively well. We go for the Draco, and we miss. So that is really unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. Draco Meteor miss, ladies and gentlemen. Let's click it again. So yeah, that sucks, and he's going to go for another Moonblast here. We do take it barely. We have a quarter HP. This time we connect with the Draco, and it takes out the Diancie. So that really sucks. We took a lot of unnecessary damage on the Goodra there, thanks to that Draco Meteor miss. But we do connect with the second one, take the Diancie out, and knock him down to 3 Pokemon. So that's still something. We get some HP back from the leftovers, which is something. But yeah, that's extremely unfortunate that we had to miss the Draco there, because we could have saved a lot of HP on Goodra. So that just sucks a lot. So we'll have to see what he wants to come in with in response. Now, the Trick Room is still active, mind you, and I believe the rest of his Pokemon are actually faster than Goodra, unless they have, like, min speed investment, which means that Goodra might actually be in a position to go first here, even though it is at -2 special attack, thanks to the Draco. So he's going to go ahead now and come in with the Hisuian Samurott, which is not great. So I kind of want to stay. Goodra's pretty weakened at this point, so I don't know if keeping it around would really be that useful at this point. I feel we could try to Toxic this thing, although I don't want to miss, but I think our best possibility here is to just go for a Terra Blast Fairy, break potential Focus Sash, if in fact we do take an attack from this thing, if in fact it does outspeed us. So let's go Terra Blast Fairy here. As we do outspeed him, we go for a Terra Blast Fairy. It's at -2, so it's not going to be doing much, but it will break a potential Focus Sash, which would be nice. As oh, it does actually do quite a lot of damage. Takes him down by over half, but he goes for an Aqua Cutter to go ahead and take the Goodra out, knocking us down to 4. So I'm kind of okay with that exchange, actually, because and now the Trick Room is over, so that is going to be huge as well. So we 100% come back in with Sneasler now. There's no reason not to. So he's got Aqua Cutter on there. But we come in with Sneasler because we know at Choice Scarf we will 100% outspeed everything he's got. So there's no reason for us not to just U-turn once again, so that's exactly what we're going to do here. If he stays in, should be enough to take him out from that range. If he doesn't, we'll get to keep the momentum on our side, as he is going to go for the switch. Okay, so what does he bring into the Sneasler now? It is going to be the Garchomp. So that thing comes in. We go U-turn. We do get some chip on that thing, knocking it down to about below 50%, and we get another Poison Touch, which is huge, actually. So we are going to take more rough skin damage, which is kind of fine. But then we are, in fact, going to pivot out, which is nice. So we know that this Garchomp is going to be Choice Specs now. We know it's Choice Specs locked into whatever it goes for. So I think going to Azelf is certainly going to be the play here, because we know for a fact that Azelf outspeeds this thing. So we're going to go into Azelf, as this thing is going to take some poison damage, and he should definitely be within range of a Dazzling Gleam here, so I don't think there's any reason to try and set up. We're just going to go straight for the Dazzling Gleam here. We know we outspeed it, and it's actually super effective against all 3 of his remaining Pokemon. So he stays in, we go Dazzling Gleam. It is enough from that range to go ahead and take that Garchomp out, knocking him down to just 2 Pokemon. So that is absolutely incredible for us. Yeah, that's incredible. So now he's going to go ahead and come in with the Urshifu. So this thing could certainly be a problem for us, but we know he's X4 weak to the Fairy attack, so I think there's no reason for us not to just go for it. We should outspeed him, but I believe he could go Sucker Punch, but I think Dazzling Gleam is certainly the play here, so that's what we're going to do, as he actually does outspeed us. So he Scarf, he goes Wicked Blow, nails us with that, knocks us all the way down to our Focus Sash, but of course we do survive because of it. We go for the Dazzling Gleam here, and at X4 effective, it is enough just to go ahead and one-shot that Urshifu and knock him down to just 1 Pokemon. So Azelf coming through here. That Focus Sash came in handy, as his last Pokemon is going to be that Hisuian Samurott, so he comes in with that. There's no reason for us to try to switch here, I don't think. We could try to be cute and switch here, but I certainly don't want to take that chance. We're just going to click Dazzling Gleam here, as unfortunately he does have Aqua Jet on deck. He does go for it, and it does finish the Azelf off, knocking us down to 3 Pokemon. But that's kind of okay. Azelf certainly did its job in that game, and so I think we just go for we'll go for Sneasler here, which is completely fine, as we switch into Sneasler. And at this point, we know we outspeed him. All we really have to do is just click Close Combat, so that's exactly what we're going to do. He goes for another Aqua Jet for last-minute damage. It does quite a bit, actually, knocking us below half. But we do go for the Close Combat in return, and that is enough to go ahead and finish that Hisuian Samurott off. And that is game. So we are going to win that one 3-0 against Stefan. But that was a really good match, actually. Very solid game all around. But we definitely were able to get the better of him in that one. And we had some stuff that matched up very well against what he had going on. But yeah, we'll go ahead and back. But yeah, that's pretty exciting for us. With that, the Philadelphia Pidgeys will advance up to a 1-1 record here in the BHDL4. Definitely a much-needed win on our side after the kind of abysmal start to the season that we had last week with the unfortunate set of circumstances. But yeah, very happy to get the win in that one. So I will talk more about this game and all the others, of course, in the next video, as it will be our BHDL4 Week 2 edition of the Captain's Recap. So thanks for watching again, everybody. Yeah, stay tuned for that video. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and/or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. And yeah, the Captain's Recap to come. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.